I want I want to do a little exercise with you. You have been asked to have a piece of paper and pen with you, and I am I'm showing you what I want you to do. Um, Before we start, I want you to think about how do you spend your day. We all have very busy lives. And so I want you to draw a circle on a piece of paper and just divided it in pie pieces, and how much time you spend on what. I just gave some examples of words that you can use, but of course, everybody's life is different. So if you have other occupations during the day, please feel free to fill them in. So my piece of the pie for work would be bigger than my social time, or yeah, how much time do I spend for family? How much time do I spend on sleep? And you don't need to present it to the group. You just need to make it just a drawing for yourself as a reference of how truly your day looks like. So it's not like how ideal your day would be, but how many hours do you sleep? Is it a long time, not, and so on. So if you just do that for like a small, like half a minute, then we continue after that. Okay, if everybody can round it up a little bit, then everybody done? Then okay, then you can put that aside, because I will get back to you on this at the end of the presentation. Um, so today I want to talk about physical and mental health and how to take care of it. We all live in challenging times at the moment with the pandemic, but we also occur stressful moments in our life, in other periods of our life. Sometimes we have the feeling we're standing in the pouring rain and we have no influence on stopping that rain. But there are things that you can do to protect yourself. For instance, opening up an umbrella and save yourself from getting wet. So there's a lot of things that you can do yourself to live a more healthier life, physically and mentally. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I will give you some tips and tricks about what to do to create a balanced life. And first, there are some components for balance in your life, and that's food related. It's about physical activity, the amount of stress you have in your life, how well you take care of your brain, and how much happiness you can pursue in your life. And those are the things I want to talk to you about today. If you have questions, please leave them for at the end of the presentation. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. So first, I want to talk to you a little bit about nutrients. During the COVID period time, a lot of people gained weight because we don't move around that much and we have more time to spend on eating. And diets really don't work. So because if you want to lose weight, then dieting is just a temporarily phase that you're going through where you restrict yourself from certain things to eat. And that's difficult to maintain for a long time. If you have a low calorie diet, then you actually have less fuel to burn in your engine. So you're lacking the energy. So you're getting tired. And then it's easier to give up and you're back in square one. So what is better to do in your life if you want to live a healthier life is to know what you eat instead of doing diets and make small changes. And what I mean is know what you eat is our life is going so fast that it's easy to buy processed food from already made food from supermarkets. We don't really have time for baking a cake or making a home cooked meal. But with those last ones, if you do a home cooked meal, you know all the ingredients that go in there. But if you buy pre-packaged food, the manufacturers are more concerned about the marketing plans and how much money they make than whether it's healthy for you. So they implement ingredients that, for instance, make the product stay fresher or make it tastier. And that means there's far more sugar, salt in it, fat, and even fat-free products. They have supplement products in it to supplement the fat, but it means that it's usually not good for your body because it's chemical substances that they put in, and your body cannot break down those chemicals, and then they'll store it as fat. So if you eat a lot of processed food, it has an effect on your brain and on your body, and it can create, for instance, high blood pressure, heart diseases, and diabetes. So check the packages, check the labels on what's in the product, what's in the food, and do try to eat as much as you can the fresh produce, and try to focus on home cooked meals. And you can make small changes in that. So if you're used to use a lot of butter in your cooking, maybe you can switch to olive oil. If you can implement more vegetables and fruits in your diets, and if you use a lot of sugar, you can slowly build that down and have less sugar in your diet. Next to that, for the nutrients, is that water is really important for us. 60% of our body is made out of water, and our brain is consistent of 80% of water. And we dehydrate easily, especially in countries where the temperature is so high, but even in colder environments, we lose a lot of water by evaporating, by talking, by sweating. And so we need to water up. We need to drink 1.5 to 2 liters a day to stay in a good way, not to dehydrate. Especially for our brain, it's really good, because if we don't drink enough water, we experience headaches, but it's also that we cannot focus very well. And a lot of older people forget to drink a lot, and they create faster memory loss due to dehydration. So it's very important. Another element to stay healthy is the physical activity. It's good for your body and brain. You're losing calories that way. Especially now with the lockdowns and the restrictions, we don't move around too much. So we do need to exercise, even if it is in our homes. And what is good from exercising is it's building muscle tissue, and your muscles are protecting also your bones. So if you have strong muscle tissue, you avoid the chance of breaking bones better. And next to that, it's if you do exercises, your blood flow and your oxygen flow is staying healthy. Your skin looks better, and the smallest blood vessels in your body are in your brain. So if your blood flow is not going very well, the damages will occur the quickest in your brain. Next to that, exercising is creating a hormone in your brain that is called serotonin, and it's making you feel happy, in a better mood. 20-minute walk a day, and you don't need to walk fast, but just walking for 20 minutes is changing your mood for the better. And studies have shown that if everybody is doing 30 minutes of workout every day, the costs of healthcare would go down significantly. So if you're not used to working out or walking, you don't need to run a marathon, but just some faster paced walking or cycling or swimming or walking up the stairs a couple of times. Those are all small changes, but with a great effect to it. So start with small steps and make it easy for yourself. We have a lot of stress in our lives, and our lives is going so fast at the moment. We have to perform quick. Our lifestyles are changing drastically, much quicker than how our ancestors were living their life. So small times of stress is healthy for you, like preparing for a wedding or planning a trip or planning a presentation. That's kind of healthy stress. That's good for you, but it makes you alert and perform better. But if you have a long time stress in your life, then it can become bad for yourself, and it creates diseases. So to prevent yourself from having a long time stress, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. It's like what I said, when it rains, you cannot stop the rain, but you can take a time out of stress and you can force yourself to do that. And it's easy because what you can do, for instance, is 5 minutes at a time. You do that 3 times a day. You just take a small time out of what you're doing, and you do a little breathing exercise to calm down, or you just sit on a chair and watch out of the window and make your head empty, or even put on some nice music and listen to some music. Just take a time out. Nobody can interrupt you. Shut off your phone and just go back to that relaxation mood to re-energize. Our calendars are really full before we know it, with all the things that we are doing in our lives. And what is a good thing to do is, before you plan all your activities in your calendar, first thing you do is to plan me time. So every week I plan a certain amount of time, can be an hour, can be half a day, depending on your schedule. But it's me time. And me time means you're doing something that re-energizes you, that is relaxing you, is making you very happy, and nobody can interrupt it. Nobody can interrupt you. You can shut off your phone, and it's the last thing that you skip in your calendar. If your calendar is overflowing, you can postpone a meeting or whatever, but your me time has to stay in there. It's very important to recharge. And sleep is very important. If you need like 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. During sleep, your body is recharging, and it takes all the toxins out of your body, and it gives you a new supply of energy for the next day to face. And how I picture that for myself is, I have a jar of energy every morning when I wake up, and it's a jar of fireflies, and I have to spend it wisely during the whole day. So a perfect day would look like that my energy has run out by the time I'm going to sleep. But on a really busy day, if I haven't taken care of my energy supply, I'm drawn like at noon, and then I'm tired for the rest of the day. So if you know you have a busy day, you need to consciously know how you divide the energy that you have, your daily supply. And you can choose activities or things that will re-energize you. You can load up during the day. So what I do is, if my energy draws quick, I read for 15 minutes a book in between that is giving me good vibes or energy. I talk to a friend who's really inspiring me or making me laugh. I listen to upbeat music, or I do a power nap, or maybe I go for a walk. They're all little things that you can do to re-energize yourself, but be conscious every day of how much energy you have. Using your phone, we use it far more than we think. And all the time we're getting messages and we're drawn back to that phone. Every time you refocus to your phone from what you were doing is costing enormously amount of energy. And so plan it, make the phone work for you and not vice versa. So check your messages like 3 times a day instead of 10 times a day. Turn off your notification sound so you're not drawn all the time to it. All those little things can help you save energy and prevent you from stress. Then your brain is the most important organ in our body. And we need to take care of it. Like I was telling before, if you drink a lot of water, it's very important for your brain. The exercises, the way you eat, what kind of food you take in, it's all very important for your brain. Our brain is kind of programmed. 90% of the time on our day, we use our brain on autopilot. And what I mean is, like if you tie your shoes or you brush your teeth or you drive from A to B, those are routine things based on previous experiences. And so you're doing a lot on autopilot. But the thing is, if new things occur in your life, like stressful events or things that you have to make decisions, your brain is not very comfortable in doing that and sees quickly the negative part of it instead of the positive of a new thing that you're facing. And you can train your brain by challenging that and practice more, that you're not all the time running on autopilot. And so how do you do that? You can use very small tricks. For instance, if you brush your teeth with your right hand, try to brush it with your left hand. Your brain needs to work and think. If you take a certain route home, take a different route home. Don't use your navigation. Find your own way. Make your brain think and work, and do, for instance, crossword puzzles or start to learn a new language. Challenge yourself and your brain to do new stuff. And if stress is occurring, then you can better handle it. You're more up for the challenge to face it. And make small changes. If you want to, for instance, lower your sugar amount or you want to stop smoking, drastic changes is hard to keep up with, and your brain doesn't like that. So if you make very small changes, that small that it's hardly noticeable, it's easier to maintain and build up slowly the benefits of the changes. And happiness, we think happiness is always at the end of the horizon. Once I have that new job, once I'm finally moving to that new house, then I will be happy. Once I'll become a mother, I'll be happy. We always postpone it till the end of the horizon, but happiness is actually right here, right now, and you can create it, you can find it yourself. Maybe that's difficult to see in difficult times, but it starts first of all to be kind to yourself. We are very forgiving people to others, but forgiving ourselves is very difficult. If we make a small mistake, we say something weird, we don't forgive ourselves. We think really bad about ourselves. But it's better to be kind and say, hey, I did my best. Tomorrow is a new day. I'll do my best again and I'll try again, and leave the things behind you. So my task for you is to be kinder to yourself from today on. Where you do find happiness is create fulfillment in your life. If you have a goal or purpose, some people have jobs that they think that they feel that it doesn't feel like a job because they enjoy so much what they're doing. And that can also be with helping others, like charity, and you're making a significant difference in their lives. But it's also giving you something back. It will give you fulfillment in your life, and that creates happiness. Social interaction, we have noticed, especially with the pandemic, with all the lockdowns and isolation, that we are very social people. We need social interaction. That is making us happy. So if you are away from your family due to travel restrictions or you have to be in lockdown, it's very important to still plan social interaction. So have a meal on Zoom with your family members that are far away from you. Set a time. And for instance, my husband worked for a while in South Korea when I was working in the Netherlands. And so we would always set in the weekend a moment where I would have my lunch or late breakfast, and he would have his dinner at the same time. And then we would have a meal together, which really feels nice. And so plan those things, reach out to a friend who
Can you listen me, Xandra ma'am?
Mr. Irfan, we can't also hear her.
I think I'm back.
Okay.
I think I was gone for a little bit.
Yeah, you were for a while.
Okay. Where did I leave? What was the last thing I covered?
Was there, for the life and, this after the food and that was on the screen. Mr. Irfan, can you check, please? Mr. Irfan?
Yes, ma'am. You were on the happiness.
She was
Okay.
saying something about planning
Happiness.
social interactions via Zoom.
Okay, the social interaction. Yes, what I was explaining is that if you're far away from your family due to restrictions of traveling or you're in lockdown, that you can plan social interactions on Zoom. For instance, when my husband was working in South Korea, I was working here in the Netherlands, and we would plan a meal together. I would have a late breakfast or lunch in the weekend. He would have dinner. So we had a meal together as husband and wife. We could connect that way in a very nice way. And you can do that with your family or with friends, or reach out to a friend who's lonely. Have a coffee with friends online. It's better than no social interaction. And it's very important for our well-being. And happiness is in small things. It's around us everywhere. We just have to pay attention to it and look for it. It's in the flower that starts blooming in your plants. It's in the sunset that's beautiful, or in the interaction with your children or with your friends, or the compliment a friend gave you. If you focus on that more, and what can help is if you keep it, they call it journaling, but if you write every day at the end of the day, like 2 or 3 things that went good, that were nice during your day, it can be really small things, but if you write them down every day, you train your brain to focus more on the good things around you instead of all the news intake, all the bad news that's coming to you, the stress. You focus more on the good things, and that will create a better feeling of happiness for yourself. And you can do that also on the dinner table, or do it on Zoom with your family members. Talk the day through and address the good things that happened in all of your lives and share it. So I hope with this presentation, it was short, but I hope I gave you some tools and that you have a feeling that you can do small things yourself, and small things can have huge results. So really try something. I hope you got inspired, and choose something that works for you. If you know the food change is difficult, maybe the workout you can do and start walking more. Or you can concentrate on having a better sleep, or do some stress reduction and do more phone management. If you are doubting about whether working out or changing your diet is good for you, always consult your doctor when in doubt. Your doctor knows best what's good for you, and together you can make a plan to improve it. And take small steps. Because small steps is easier to maintain than if you do drastic changes. And you can do it. You can hold that umbrella in the rain to cover yourself. There is so much you can do, and the little things really make a big difference.
Okay.
Yes.
No, continue, please.
Round up, I'm almost done. So now back to the assignment that I gave you before I started. I want you, and you don't need to do that now, you can do that after this webinar is over, but draw a new circle and think about how do you want to spend your day? What is important? What do you really want to spend your time on? What do you need to change? And with that new circle and the new pie chart parts, you can make a plan on what would work for you to change. And create the timeout time, create the me time. It will really help you to recover better. So that's the end of my presentation. And I'll be happy to ask some questions if people want to reach out later to me. These are my details. Ambreen told me she would share it on social media with you as well. I'm happy to help out on a later stage, but if people have questions now, then I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, we will have, first of all, thank you so much, Madam Xandra, for a very informative and, highly beneficial talk. And we will, of course, get benefit from them. Now, Mrs. Rabia Bernie, she will conduct question and answer time, so people can ask questions. I will request everyone, our members also and guests, if when you want to have a question, kindly raise your hand, and we will unmute your mic. So over to Mrs. Rabia.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Romina. And thank you, Xandra, for such an informative lecture. Personally, I really learned a lot from it, and hope we can implement it in our lives, in our daily routines.
Good.
So if anyone wants to ask any questions, please raise your hands. It would be good if you keep your questions precise so we can have as many questions as possible. Wafa Saleh. Mrs. Wafa Saleh.
Yes.
She would like to ask something.
Yes, hello everyone. I just want to thank for the very nice presentation. And I agree with you that I hope we can implement it in our daily routine. And that's it. I don't have a question. I'm just thanking the beautiful lady for this nice presentation. And it was really amazing when I made my circle that I found that I put a lot of time for my work. So I should change this, I think. So thank you for the inspiring presentation, and thank you all.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, it's becoming awareness is, if you're already aware of the situations, it gives you room to change, and it will help.
Mrs. Arusa, she wants to ask a question.
Hello, everybody. My name is Arusa, and thank you so much for this informative lecture. I really like the fact that it was very, short and to the point. So my question is going to be, if I'm depressed and, there's nothing I can do about it, it's something related to family or maybe my kid. What is that one thing that I should do to uplift my mood? The quick hack, because I don't want to spoil my entire day thinking
I understand. The quick
about
hack is to walk.
it. What could the quick fix?
A quick fix would be walking every day. If you do every day 20, 30 minutes, you will notice a difference. It really helps with depression. It's a simple thing, and I know some days you're not really up for walking, but if you force yourself to do this every day, make it a habit, it's really helping against depression.
Anyone else? Mrs. Sajda Heather would like to ask a question.
Yeah, it was a very nice talk, very informative, sweet and brief. Thank you, Mrs. Xandra.
You're welcome.
Regarding getting depressed, on and off, when you are indoors most of the time, or your friends are no more close by to you. So what I find helpful for myself is deep breathing. I love deep breathing, because I feel as if my blood pressure levels and my anxieties suddenly it goes down. And then there are I was reading in a book that we have a conscious mind, and then we have a subconscious level of our brain or mind. And so, the subconscious level, which can be considered as our backup system, I read that it's the storage unit of our emotions. And like positive thoughts, they generate positive thoughts. And what I found interesting, the key here is belief. When you really believe in something, your subconscious mind will take us, there, and it will directly show on our physical health as well, and our emotions. So anything you have to say on this? This is one thing. And another thing was about, not about ladies really, but about for the children. For the children, how to keep them motivated, running around, energetic, happy, and to do challenging things for them in these especially COVID times. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I will try to answer your both your questions. Yes, you have a conscious and subconscious part of the brain. That's what I was mentioning, the autopilot part. That's your unconscious brain. That's why you're doing all things automatically without even thinking. And your conscious brain is the part of the brain where you make decisions, you come up with creative solutions, and it is more a positive thing. Our brain is actually designed to keep us alive and to survive. That's the main assignment that our brain has. And so it always looks for danger. And that's why it likes to run on the unconscious part of the brain, the autopilot, because then everything is predictable. The brain knows what the situation is because it has done it before. So it's pretty safe. And if you work more with your conscious brain, you come up with new solutions, and your brain translates that immediately to danger, to negative things, because it doesn't know what the outcome will be. But you can train your conscious brain, like I said, by challenging it, by doing new things, by doing things differently. And that allows you to be able to see more positive things in life. And then when the rain hits you, you are stronger to make a stand for yourself and survive yourself in it, or to brace yourself. You can handle stress better if you have your conscious brain more trained, and you can come up with new ideas, new solutions. It's very important. You see that in the pandemic part now, that some people are very creative to find new ways to do things, while others have a hard time coping with the stress. And that's really making a difference. And for children, it's really difficult. For us as adults, it's already difficult, but we can choose the news that we're seeing. We can understand some things, and sometimes not everything we understand from this pandemic. But children are relating on the trust pillars in their lives, and that's the parents. And if parents don't know it, then for children it's even worse, because they don't know how to deal with the situation. So what's very important, if they need to stay indoors and with the homeschooling, is to have structure. And for instance, what works really well is to do first a workout with the children, like have half an hour in the morning, make a tour in your house, like a trail that they have to go through, and they have to jump or to run, or to make them really tired, because then they burn up a lot of energy, and then they're more focused for school to do so. If you are having experience a lot of fighting and resisting with children in your home, then don't try to go into the discussion of the moment, of the heat of the moment of the fight. But what is better is to leave it, and to, for instance, start reading a book together. Let the child read and you read, because then you refocus, and the anger will go away. And at the moment where everybody calmed down, you can better discuss the situation and try to find a solution. But to have the fight in the heat of the moment it's not a good solution. Is this maybe answering your questions a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I think we have to keep our brains active all the time.
Yes.
And challenge ourselves, so the more we exercise our brain, the sharper it becomes. And yeah, thank you so much. So we have to be, be focused, think positive, eat healthy, exercise a bit, and challenge our brains, and pass on the positive stimulus to our spouses and our children.
Yes.
Yeah. Positivity. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for your it's a wonderful time spent listening to you, Xandra. All the best.
Thank you. Mrs. Maria Malik has asked a question. Please suggest a few simple mindfulness exercises in our daily routine.
Okay, well, a good mindfulness is what I was saying is to do the time out, and one of your wonderful members said the breathing exercise. Breathing exercise is really good, and actually what we could do is, if we can do it in half a minute. It can be really quick and short. But if you just sit in your chair and just ground with your 2 feet on the floor, sit up straight, and then if you inhale deep and let it go again, and if you breathe in again, and feel really your tummy filling with air, and then slowly breathe out again. And do it again. Breathe in and breathe out again. And if you can do that for 3 or 10 breaths this way, you calm down. And it's very mindful, because it brings you here in the moment now, and nothing else matters. And you can do this exercise also before you go to sleep. If you're having too many thoughts in your brain before you go to sleep, just breathe in and breathe out a couple of times, and it calms you down. So this is a very mindful exercise, and you can do it anywhere. You can do it in the traffic, in your car, before you go to sleep, anytime. But if you practice this, to do it a couple of times a day, it's very beneficial.
Thank you. Next is Aruj Hassan. Aruj, are you there?
Yes, hello. So it was a nice topic, and you discussed it very nicely and very beneficial for us. But these days, the most challenging thing for us parents, especially moms, is the anger management issue, which I really want to know how to, control it with kids, because you get so frustrated doing the same daily routine and going through the same monotonous day. So how to, control our anger with kids, or our frustration with kids, so they don't get affected by it negatively, and we also, calm ourselves with our anger management kind of.
Yes, I understand. It's not easy for all us having the children at home doing homeschooling. We have so many jobs to do all together. It's a difficult task. And of course, your stress level builds up. And yes, I can understand that. So what is important is, like I said, to do those timeouts, and maybe you can do a breathing exercise with your child as well together, to both lower the stress level. But it's also important as a parent to have some space and some time for yourself. And maybe you can do that with your partner, that one is taking care of the kids and the other one is able to even reload for half an hour and do something for yourself away from the family in a different room, or just to re-energize and reload yourself. You really need to do that to lower that stress level. It's very important to do so. And exercise, do it together with the children, even if it's in your house, but come up with some ideas to get that physical activity going, because that is very stress relieving.
Thank you.
Miss Ma'am Amreen Gayas, and please turn on your cameras. Ma'am Amreen Gayas.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you please turn on your camera?
There's some problem, I think, so it's not getting on. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Xandra, for the lovely talk. I was just jotting down a few points from your talk, and you mentioned about the me time. And I wanted to know about the me time, as you said that for the positivity and for ourselves, we can go for a walk, or we can read a good book, or deep breathe. We can do that. But I want you to describe this me time, how it is important for us and for our family, because most of us, we are always engaged in our home and in work, or doing this or doing that. So we don't really get time for us, most of us.
No, we don't, because we don't allow it in our schedule, but we have to really be forceful and say, this is my time. See it as when your phone is empty, you need to plug it in the electricity, and it needs time to recharge, and then you cannot use it. And see yourself as that as well, and discuss it with your family. And every family member has a right to me time. But we all need that little time, even if it's half an hour or an hour, to recharge and do something that you really like, and that there is no obligation, no interaction, no interruption with anybody else. And it's something that you really enjoy doing. And so I know we don't allow it, but if you start implementing this in your schedule, you will see that it has so many benefits if you do. And we women, we are really taking care of everybody, the kids, your husband, maybe parents. So we're really caring persons, and the last person we care about is ourselves. We don't take time to do that. But if we fall down, the whole family is suffering from it. So it's very important to take care of yourself. It's in the plane. They say when the masks drop, you first have to put it on yourself because otherwise you cannot help others. That's the same with me time. You really need that me time to recharge, because if your battery is empty, you're going to be cranky, you don't have the energy, conflicts will start occurring in your family, it's harder to motivate the kids, everything becomes more difficult if you're drained.
True.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ma'am Samira Abdul Latif. Please turn on your camera.
Hi, thank you, Sandra, for that very informative talk. I think it's very timely to have this talk during these pressing times, especially with what everybody's going through. One of the things that I really, I think I took on to was when you said to find the happiness in the moment. I think a lot of us don't actually enjoy that. We don't find our present as enjoyable or as happy as maybe a future goal that we've got in plan, or whenever we achieve that goal, is that when we'll be happy. So I think we need to focus on accentuating the positive within the moment, with our talks and with just us as mothers. I think we have, and wives, I think we've a big role to play in the house, especially if we're accentuating the positive around us. That actually brings about change within our kids, with our husband. So finding the happiness within the moment, I think, is so important, more so now than ever before, just because, with the times that we're in. And like you said, it could be through a book that we read or something that we enjoy doing, but just speaking it out subconsciously goes into our minds, and it comes out in our energy that we're giving off to our friends, to our family. So I think that was a very pivotal point that you mentioned there. So once again, thank you very much for the talk. Really found it very informative. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, we can all mention bad things about COVID, but it's harder to see positive things. But there are also positive things happening because we have more time to spend with our family, and sometimes it's too much because we're all in the same house. But it also has good things. So yeah, if you focus more on the positive and point those out and do it together with the family, it will give a more positive vibe mentally in the household, definitely.
Thank you. Mr. Atif Mustafa. Please turn on your cameras when you're asking the questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. If I'm going through a depressive phase in life, I just wanted to know, how do we overcome it? Because I feel that it affects you physically also. It drains you out, and it can affect your daily routine, your family life. So just normally going out and going outside home, and it's one of the options. But when we are in our home, and sometimes it's hard to overcome it, and there are breakdowns. So how do I try to overcome it? So that was my concern.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, when you're feeling depressed, you have a lack of energy. So making a change is really difficult to do. But if you start to make like a small change, like for instance, doing that breathing exercise, and if you implement it in your life, or do a walk, even in your house. When we were in lockdown, when I was in Kuwait as well, I started to walk the stairs up and down, and it would give me more energy. And sometimes you really have to step over that boundary, and that's difficult when you're depressed, but you have to kind of force yourself to do it. And maybe you can write down at the end of the day what the benefit of it was, what made it feel better, because that will motivate you to keep on going and doing it the next day. And if you notice that there is a slight change in positivity, it will help to lower your feelings of depression. And if you are suffering from severe depression, it is very advisable, of course, to maybe find out what the issues are and if a professional can help you to cope with what you're going through.
Thank you. Ma'am Zara Ahmed.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so
Your
much.
camera, please.
Extra. Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I just want to thank Miss Xandra for the comprehensive and to the point informative talk. But unfortunately, I could not hear her most of the time, though I could watch the slides, and I'm very much interested to know about that that slide in which there were hands depicting different colors. I still wanted to know the description of those. Would you please explain me briefly? And I liked your description of conscious and the subconscious mind. You described it very well. And one little question along with that, is there any best time for the walk? Is the morning walk best, or evening, or any time?
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me first do the last question. Any time for a walk is good. I do mine early in the morning, and actually the reason why is because then I benefit from all the energy it's given me the rest of the day. And it's also that in the morning there is no excuse to postpone it, because during the day your schedule is so filled up that if you plan an exercise later in the day, it's easier to say, oh, I'm too busy, I'll do it tomorrow. So if you do it first thing in the morning, there's no excuse, because you're just starting and it benefits you. But if you prefer evenings or in the afternoon, depends all on your schedule, you need to do it what's comfortable for you, what works best for you, and to make it as easy as possible. And the other slide, I think the whole meeting is being recorded, but I'll be happy to explain you quickly. That slide with the colored hands was about happiness, and that happiness is not always in the future ahead of us. Like once we got that new job, then we will be happy. But happiness is right here, right now, and you can find it in finding purpose in your life. And to socialize with people, even if that is through Zoom, if you can't meet up. And also it's in the little things around us. And if you journal that every day, like at the end of the day, you write down 2 or 3 things that were positive that day to you, or you discuss it on the dinner table with your family. Every family member can mention something. You train your brain to look more for the positive things in life, instead of only seeing the negative things that bring stress.
Please turn on your mic.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. No, I can't hear you now. You're muted again. Yes, now you're unmuted.
So I just want to pay thanks to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ma'am Fauzia Zubair.
Yes, hi Xandra, thank you so much for the information that you've passed on to us. It's a much needed, webinar at this point in time. I had 2 questions to you. One is, I suffer from my mom guilt. So if I'll take half an hour out for myself, I'll keep on thinking, did I do the right thing? Did I, should I have spent it doing something with my children? That's my first part. I do still take time out, but that's something I really struggle with. And the second thing is self-doubt. How do you overcome self-doubt? Like even in, sometimes I find myself doubting in the smallest of things that I'm doing. And what can I do to help overcome that?
Right. I think we all feel guilty about not giving enough to our children or our families, but if you then don't take care of yourself by planning that me time or just take a time out, then you're actually not taking care of yourself, but also you're not the best performer of towards your family if you're building up stress. So try to not feel guilty about taking that half-hour time out for yourself, that me time, because your family will benefit from, you're a better relaxed, more relaxed mom if you take some time for yourself. So yeah, it's a mindset, but I can understand that you feel guilty, but you'll be a better mom if you're more relaxed and more happy to them as well. I mean, you're a terrific mom, I'm sure, even without it, but it's better for everybody. It's beneficial to take that time out. Yes. And the other question was that's actually what I said with being kind to yourself more. I think we're always very not forgiving to ourselves. We think that we cannot do it. We're just we're not the best version. We always doubt about ourselves. It's a common thing that many people have. And try to be more kind and forgiving to yourself, and just say, hey, it didn't work out as it should be, what I tried to do today, but I'll try to do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow is a new day with new chances, and we're all people, and making mistakes is not a bad thing, because we learn actually the most from our mistakes. If everything was going smoothly and fine, that wouldn't really be very good. So see it as a good thing if you make a mistake, and it's behind you, it's the past, and the future is ahead of you, and you can do good.
Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Amreen Mustafa. Okay, thank you so much, Xandra, for a very, I think it was a very simple and convincing presentation. Nothing difficult, nothing, which I think we all understood very easily, but if we go in detail, it was very deep. It had very deep meanings. I hope we all, learned at least something from this presentation, and we stick to it. So I just want to say thank you to you. Just something very small. I think you have just discussed about it, but maybe you can give us a few more examples. Like you said that we have to be kind to ourselves, which usually we don't. I have noticed we as mothers, we as wives, we are not kind to ourselves. We are always blaming ourselves. So can you give us few examples that, how can we be kind to ourselves consciously?
Consciously.
Yes, because this is what I have done myself in my life. Like I've always been blaming myself for even small things, which with life, with age, I have come to know that no, it's not always like that. So like we all make mistakes, it's normal in life, but there are some, is there any way which is in particularly we can do to be kind to ourselves?
Yes, to take yourself a bit less serious. So if there's something goes wrong, more laugh about it that it happened. And what you also can do is maybe write down what you learned from a mistake, because then you see that there is progress and actually good things are happening. So if you read that back, you create more trust in yourself. Because that's basically what it is you need to become more trustworthy with yourself. We're doubting ourselves too much. And everybody has it. I do the same thing. If I think my presentation didn't go well, I think, but it's, and what you feel inside, other people that see you or that listen to you, have a different perspective. So it's that little voice. Try to shut that little voice in your head sometimes off. Don't listen to it, and just do things. And you'll see that the world doesn't fall apart if you try something new or challenge yourself. So yeah, take it less serious. And age helps, I agree. When you get older, you can look back a little bit more like, well, okay, you know, the world didn't fall down. True.
Mrs. Hina Salim, I think that will be the last of it. Thank you.
Hello, Ms. Xandra. First of all, I would definitely like to thank you for giving us such a nice presentation. Everyone would agree that this is a time when we have forgot everything around us, even the working or what, and we are just concentrating on your lecture. This is a kind of therapy in itself, that we are focusing on, okay, the me time should be there, and we should give time to ourselves, forget the many parts. So I got a lot of, the techniques from your from this webinar. I have a very important question. How to control your guilt? Like, I'll go with Ms. Fawzia Patel's statement that while we are working, might be for 16 hours, 17 hours. And for example, if we find out time, 1 hour, we spend it to watch some kind of the serial or any kind of the activity, or find out time for myself. But after spending that 1 hour, we start condemning ourselves. Oh, I lost it. I could have done this in 1 hour. I could have done this. I was supposed to complete this in 6 hours. Because of that attitude, I found it out time for myself and I was late. Now, is there any technique to hold yourself and to let yourself know, okay, it wasn't wrong? Because this guilt factor, it keeps on triggering yourself, and the trigger goes on that you stop, like you become a kind of, you can say, a watch person, that, okay, for 5 minutes you did this, for 10 minutes you did this, now you have to do this, now you have to do this. Is there any technique to stop your thinking about this?
Yeah, to consciously say sometimes no to that little voice. If it comes up, just say no and divert your thinking, your attention to something else. And maybe if it's hard to do an hour of me time, start maybe with 15 minutes. And if that feels comfortable and you really enjoy it, I'm sure you're gonna move it up to half an hour, because it really is nice to have me time. But maybe to begin with an hour, it's very difficult. And write down, after you have done an hour of me time, how it felt, how positive it was, and look back to that. If you get that voice again of the guilt, if you've been a bad mother or a bad worker because you did something else, then look back at what the benefits were and see the importance of it. Because if you do that, if you do the relaxation and you keep you're recharging yourself with energy, you have far more energy to do all the rest of the work in the shorter time that's left, because you have more energy. Or you are a better listener to your children, you have more focused time afterwards for your children. You create more quality time if you have more peace of mind in your stressful brain. And write it down, write what the benefits were and read it back. It will give you confidence to keep on doing it.
One last question. I hope you have time, Xandra.
I do. No worries.
Mrs. Rubina Jamshed. Can you hear us?
No, I think I was having problem with my microphone. Okay. Thank you for the beautiful talk. Sarah, there were a lot of things helping us. And hello, can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, yes.
Okay, so is there any specific things we can do to challenge our, I couldn't hear some part of your talk, sorry, my microphone was not working for some part of it. So specifically for us mothers and in our busy schedules, what we can do to, in a small time, to challenge our brains. Like you said, you should challenge it daily.
Yeah, to do different things. Like I said, if you're brushing your teeth with your right hand, do it with your left hand. Or try to cook a complete different meal that you've never done before. Read a book you would normally not read. You know, it's about new stuff that makes your brain starts to work, and it really needs to pay attention what it's doing. And if you're preparing a meal that you've done 10 times or 100 times, you don't need to look up the recipe because you know exactly what you're doing. So you're not in the moment thinking about it and being conscious with it. So do things, can be anything, but do things differently.
Okay, now I would like to invite PWF's president, Ms. Hina Salim, to give a vote of thanks to Ms. Xandra. And I will request again for our participants to keep their cameras on so we can have a good screenshot. So, you know, later on it will be helpful. So kindly keep your cameras on. It's a humble request. Thank you. Over to you, Hina.
Oh, thank you so much, Romina. Xandra, first of all, I would really like to thank you again for finding us time for us and for such a, you know, informative session. It really helped. At least I am so sure it would have us, all of us, especially to me. You know, within this, from the past 1 hour, I've started actually thinking about myself. I would say this is a kind of the influence of your such a nice and such a beautiful lecture. And we would definitely like to have more and more sessions with you in the future about the mental health, about the physical health activities that can, you know, stimulate our lives in a good, in a positive manner. And
Sure.
I would really like to thank Mrs. Ambeen Mustafa. She's always there with the beautiful ideas and with the, you know, spreading the positive energy, telling us, okay, we should have such kind of the informative sessions and informative activities, which is good for everyone, definitely. And we would like to invite you, in fact, once this COVID issues are over, so we would like to invite you to Kuwait and would like to meet you in person and then give a full, you know, the live webinar to us.
Yes, that would be lovely. I hope in the future I have
Yeah.
a chance to come back to Kuwait.
Definitely,
But,
we would be
if
inviting
so,
you, definitely.
If so, I would love to meet up. It was really nice to be with you, beautiful ladies.
Thank you so much.
And you should all be proud of yourself because we're already struggling for 1.5 years and we've come really far in doing things. So be proud of yourself and have trust in yourself.
And we would, you know, all of us, in fact, we would like to develop ourselves in the way you have just shown us in the chart that, okay, divide your time, give time to yourself, and, you know, have the walk, have the exercise. We would like to follow the routine. I'm so sure that the ladies would try to, even for 2 or 3 or 4 days, but we'll try to have it continuously.
Yeah, try little things. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Okay, on behalf of PWF, I would like to once again thank Ms. Xandra, Madam Xandra, for joining us today. And special thanks to our patron, PWF patron, Madam Ambeen Mustafa, for always supporting us. So thanks to our members and guests for joining us today virtually. If anyone wants to contact Madam Xandra for their personal issues or they want to discuss, we will be showing on our screen her contact details. They are here now. So you can contact her personally also. And we will also be sharing her contact details on our social media page. So once again, thank you, everyone. Hope everyone will apply these rules and try to apply them in your lives also. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.